Now, other interesting political news, you have Ron DeSantis laying off about 1/3 of his campaign staff. Now, granted, to me, that's not enough. They've made so many mistakes. I almost debate if they just fire everyone and build from the ground up. Because they shot themselves in the foot multiple times. Now, the cuts were also confirmed by their advisors, and it would total the amount of 38 jobs across a wide array of departments. Now, it looks like they'll also include 10 event planning positions, which that's probably the least thing he needs to worry about in terms of cutting costs. Because I don't know what those people are costing, but that's not the infection that's spread like a disease in the DeSantis campaign staff, because they're not making the strategic moves. So as far as they might be cutting back on the physical events, and that's why they don't need them anymore, but that's not what they need to do to win. That's just decreasing costs a little bit, which if you look at the billions of dollars involved in campaigning left and right, I don't know how much a couple $100,000 is really going to save you. Now, it looks like the departure will also include some campaign advisors, specifically Dave Abrams and Tucker Obenstein, and that might be good because, yes, the people advising him are morons, to say the least. He did great as a governor of Florida. He exponentially went from winning by less than 1% of the vote to 19%, which in politics is unprecedentedly great. Now, I don't know if there's rumors that you got different advisors for this, and they're just making him look terrible. One of the worst things they did, in my opinion, was one of their affiliates, I believe, is the DeSantis War Room Twitter handle, and of course, part of the campaign. They put out an ad saying, "Real Trump," and it was a compilation of pictures where Trump is hugging Fauci. Now, they said "Real Trump," but 3 of the 6 pictures, specifically the ones where he actually was hugging and embracing Fauci, those were done with deep fake AI technology. And when I asked for comment, the campaign said, "Oh yeah, well Trump does it too," and the Trump campaign did something silly, like they photoshopped DeSantis riding a rhinoceros or something. Those are not the same. One is clearly fake. No one believes Ron DeSantis or Trump is on a rhinoceros running around, or I guess in that case galloping around. Whatever rhinoceri do, if that's the plural for rhinoceros, but it's clearly fake. And a lot of people I know were deeply offended by the DeSantis campaign doing that. And all Ron DeSantis had to do to fix that situation was come out publicly and say, "Hey, I do not agree with that campaign decision. That was BS. That was unethical. We will not do that again. We will not use technology in a malicious, manipulative way to try to stir up support for our campaign." That would have taken well under I believe it was 280 characters allotted by Twitter, or just take 18 seconds to say it. Ron DeSantis did not do that. So he lost a lot of support. People I know who previously supported Ron DeSantis no longer support him because they saw his morality and his ethics just drop precipitously. That was a huge campaign mistake. I don't know who on that team made that decision, but that is not only did someone on the campaign decide that, but Ron, even if I don't know how disconnected he is from seeing these types of production products being pushed in terms of campaign art materials, but he's either disconnected or he didn't care that they lied. Either of those things are not indicative of a good presidential nominee, in my opinion. And it'll be interesting to see how this really affects his campaign. Now, when I asked for comment, this actually comes from the DeSantis campaign manager, Jordan Peck, who said, quote, "Following a top-down review of our organization, we have taken additional aggressive steps to streamline operations and put Ron DeSantis on the strongest position to win the primary to defeat Joe Biden." Now, Gurna actually continued and said, quote, "Governor DeSantis is going to lead the great American comeback, and we're going to hit the ground running as we head into an important month of the campaign." Unquote. Which I almost wish I could believe that person. I think in terms of policies, Ron has some great policies, and business-wise, Florida is one of the fastest growing economies in the United States. Also one of the fastest growing places in terms of population, as people are going to Florida specifically due to his policies that attract businesses that have a low cost of living, no income tax. It's a great way to attract new people to come to your state. So there are a lot of great things that he both directly and indirectly controlled and led to in terms of making Florida better. Again, I'm not his campaign team, but it takes about 2/8 of a second to think of a funny hat, make Florida great again, and just there's a little nugget of an idea there. But in terms of campaigning, it really just seems like Diet Trump. He's going after Trump a little bit, but he's really not aggressive. And just that crash and burn where he announced his campaign on Twitter, where he sounded as about enthusiastic and energetic as Biden, which left, right, center, whoever is going up against Biden, whoever that nominee is, they need to have just a modicum of more energy than Biden, which is easy. Any human should have that capability. Everyone should be focusing on that. They should be focusing on policies. They should be focusing on capabilities and competencies. Unfortunately, in pure Republican fashion, they're woefully inept and just arguing a bunch against each other. Now, granted, I wish there was a lot more support for a third-party ticket, because that's where my beliefs fall. But as cliche as it sounds, a wise man would once say, get your shit together. Pardon the French, but it's a mess out of the DeSantis campaign. And if he wants to surpass Trump for the nominee, he needs to do astronomically good at the upcoming debate. Now, there is somewhat an advantage in terms of Trump's not going to go to that debate. Partially because there's no upside. And when I say debate, it's going to be the August primary where it's only the Republicans debating each other as their goal is to get the presidential nominee. Now, Trump's not going to go partially because he says there's no reason, there's not a lot of upside. Because he is winning in terms of the primaries. All the polls say he has the greatest support for the primary Republican nominee. So, if he doesn't go, presumably Ron is still around second place in terms of the percentages of people who are voting for the nominee. He needs to come up with some clear, concise messaging and needs to turn that ship around. Can he do that? That's going to be the real question. He has some great ideals. I wish him the best, but as Magic 8 Ball would say, I would say, outlook not so good. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Really want to thank you for taking time to subscribe. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of July. We still have a little bit of time to do that. Also, don't forget to like and comment. The feedback is greatly appreciated. It also helps with the algorithm, with the videos getting shared more. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.